Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are here to listen to one of the most remarkable scholars in Islam, particularly in spirituality. And probably our experience in the Philippines, particularly in Mindanao, the Hadith of Quds is always true that knowledge of the spiritual essence is a secret of his secrets, and that he only entrusts this to the selected few faithful servants of Allah. And that's why I see a little crowd rather than lots of people. To formally begin the program, I'd like to call on one of our students, Benjamin and Sally, to lead the opening prayer.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. All the praises and thanks be to Allah, Lord of the universe, most gracious, most merciful, Master of the day of judgment. You alone we worship, you alone we ask for help. Guide us to the straight way, the way of those whom you have bestowed your grace, not the way of those who earned your anger, nor of those who went astray. O Allah, guide us along with those whom you have guided aright, and protect us with those whom you have protected. Blaze for us all that you have given us, and save us and keep away from us any evil that you have decreed. We seek forgiveness from you for every sin and every misstep that we have taken, and we turn to you in repentance. We believe in you and rely on you. O Allah, we seek refuge in you from knowledge that does not benefit, and from a heart that is not humbled in devotion to you, and from an eye that does not weep out of love of you, and from an ego that is never satisfied, and from a supplication that is not heard. O Allah, purify our hearts, divest us of our faults, relieve our worries and troubles, protect us in the best way, and gather for us the best of the hereafter and the best of this life. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Shukran Benjamin. And to give us an opening remarks, may I call on the officer in charge of our institute, Professor Nefertari herself.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I welcome you all today with sincere and truthful anticipation because of the topic that we are expecting. In discussions on terrorism, always we touch on issues of ideology, social disparity, criminality, geopolitics even, and issues of relations between oppressor and oppressed. And in whatever context that it is discussed today, the realities of terrorism are always very grave. It causes pain, it causes grief and sorrow, and it causes anger. Things that do not go away things that keep on festering like a deep wound in people's hearts, and only truly heal with justice, forgiveness, and tawakkal on Allah. So today, it is an auspicious occasion because we look at terrorism in connection to spirituality, which our esteemed guest would hope to elaborate upon. As I think about these two ideas in relation to each other, I raised some questions. I did some brainstorming and I raised some questions which I share with you. And I thought, if we think of our spirituality and terrorism, representations of the extremes of the spectrum, extremes in a spectrum of human behavior or action, are they two states of being that negate each other? That is, for example, if you are a spiritual person, would you ever think of doing something, of doing an act of violence? On the reverse, if you are a person given to violence, can you ever have a semblance of spirituality in you? And in the context of Philippines and Southeast Asia for that matter, I also thought of some things. For example, can the Asian consciousness, which is characterized by spirituality, esotericism, collectivism, and non-confrontationalism, can the Asian psyche really be inclined? Can it be inclined or disinclined to terrorism? I leave these questions brewing as I reiterate my welcome in behalf of the Dean of the Institute of Islamic Studies, Assistant Professor Maclina Morados, who is on herself presenting a paper in Amman, Jordan, in behalf of our College Secretary, Dr. Jamel Kayamuddin, our faculty, Attorney Sadain, and our staff, students, and Wahdatul Asabiya, who were also here to help us prop up this event. I welcome all of you today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. And to give us the introduction of the guest speaker, I'd like to call on one of our university researchers, Kamaluddin bin Alawi Muhammad.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'll give you this piece of paper which I think I believe not enough to explain the reality behind the person that are going to listen to me. But at least I could share to you what his achievements in life. First, his specialty is teaching and Shafi'i fiqh, tasawwuf, Daw'ah, youth matters, and interfaith dialogue. Method is authentic, traditional Islamic teachings with chain of narration through Yemeni scholars of the Ahlul Bayt, offsprings of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Please don't misunderstood me for using the word Ahlul Bayt because this is not the Ahlul Bayt that we're referring. All the way back to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. His education recognized by the Islamic Council of Johor State as a qualified religious teacher. In 2016, he studied in Dar al-Mustafa, under the authority of Habib Omar bin Hafiz and Sheikh Umar bin Hussein al-Khatib from 2009 to 2015. Completed memorization of Riyadh Salihin, which consists of almost 2,000 hadith in Tarim in 2012. Achieved recognition by MUIS as a recognition scheme 2008, completed Cambridge GCE zero levels and with 6 credits in Singapore in 2008. He studied also Talaqi under Sheikh Mahmoud Al-Khatib, who studied under the authority of Al-Allama Sheikh Umar bin Abdullah Al-Khatib, covered hadith, tafsir, nahu, knowledge of verification, and jurisprudence in 2006 to 2008. Completed pre-U level and achieved the Best Student Award for 2 consecutive years at Madiwa High Institute for Islamic and Arabic Studies in 2004-2006. Completed 30 Juz Quran memorization in Juhur 2002. Experiences, I just mentioned some, because it would take long. Gives lectures in the following universities: Singapore, Malaysia, in the Islamic Medical University, also in Malaysia, in the Nanyang Technical University in Singapore, also in the National University for Singapore, So. Gives lectures in various mosques in Malaysia and Singapore. He's also translator for scholars to Malay and English for from Arabic. Imam for Tarawih prayers with 30 Juz Quran recitation in a mosque in Alim Siddiq Mosque in Singapore, 2009 to 2003. First time Imam of Abdul Alim Siddiq Mosque in Singapore, 2008. And represented many international Quran memorization in Singapore from 2004 to 2008. Daw'ah in Denmark, Germany, France, Netherlands, Belgium, Australia, Cambodia, and the Philippines. Especially, it mentions here the Catholic University, he means the Ateneo de Zamboanga. Conducted programs similar to the Daw'ah program, which consists of dhikr and so on and so forth, recitation of Quran, lessons or books, and among others. He accompanied Khadim as Sokaf, so Malaysia, Singapore, England, Wales, Scotland, for Daw'ah from 2011 to 2013. For scholars like us, in a world of pluralism, like we have today, it is but civil on our part to be open-minded. This is actually what we just did the moment we stepped in UP. We stepped the ground of UP. I'm speaking of the scholars from Mindanao and the rest of my Muslim brothers here. And so having someone who speaks of the particular topics in Islam from quite quote-unquote different perspective, at least on our own perception, because everyone has their own perception, is significant heart of humility on our part. Although it's not all true that this is a different approach. So we listen to Marxism, we listen to feminism, and among others that actually contradicts Islam in some way. And so we should listen now, this with all of our heart, on things that are new to us, at least on our perception. This is also very personal. Now, let us listen again. Let us listen in a peace of heart on knowledge of spirituality to counter the creeping of terrorist-inclined thoughts in our weak iman. Once again, let us welcome our brother, Sheikh Imran Angullia.
وصلي وسلم على سيدنا محمد في كل
وقت محين وصل وسلم على سيدنا محمد إلى يوم الدين آمين يا رب العالمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته, and good morning to all of you. Alhamdulillah, with the blessings and with the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are gathered here today indeed to discuss on a very important aspect in Islam which has been emphasized by him himself sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam. It's a very interesting topic when it comes to spirituality and terrorism. Now, spirituality and terrorism is a complete opposite. It's very interesting when we get at the topic itself. When we mention about spirituality, our scholars mention the objective which has been brought by our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in a hadith which is known as in hadith Jibreel. Many of us know. Now, when our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that is the source of spirituality, and that is where we get all the kind and method of spirituality. When there was a man came to our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If you don't know, I just ask, is there any? I think there's non-Muslims attending as well, right? Because then I will explain terms used. Because in Islam, probably many people understand the term used in Arabic words, but otherwise I'll explain further. There was one man came to our Prophet, and it was strange at that moment because our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam lived in Medina, and there was a man who came to him who was unknown. Nobody knew him. He came to Medina, and he's not from the people of Medina. And if a person came to Medina and they are not from the people of Medina, they have to travel through desert. And when you travel through desert, it's very normal for you to have dust, for you to sweat, for you to look a bit tanned at some part of your body, and for your hair to be a little bit messy, and so on. You have traveled basically. But this man, he was in Medina, but he had pure white clothes on him, and his hair was black and clean. If he was a stranger and then he came to Medina, he had to clean himself first before he get to see our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in that manner. But at that particular time, he came without anyone knowing him, which means nowadays, those days when traveler comes to a town, people will know there's a traveler came in. It's not like nowadays, mashallah, you come in the city and you go out. There's so much travelers and visitors nowadays compared to those days. But no one knew him, and he came in clean clothes and presents. So he came to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he came to the Prophet as if he knew the Prophet. He came to the Prophet and he sat knee to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he said, "Ya Muhammad, tell me about Islam." And then the Prophet started to say that you bear witness that there is no God other than Allah, and that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. That there is no God but God, and Muhammad is the messenger of God. And you establish your 5-time prayers, and you do your almsgiving, your zakat, and you fast in the month of Ramadan, and then you do your hajj whenever you are able to. Now this is the pillars of Islam. That is where the pillars of Islam come from, this particular hadith, this particular narration from our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And after he asked the Prophet Muhammad saying that, what is Islam? Then the Prophet answered, and he said, "You're right.
Now, who are we to say whether the Prophet is right or not right? In reality, we should take everything from the Prophet, and no one should just judge whether the Prophet is right or not right. Even if he was right, we are in no position to say that you are right. Just like what if God says something to us, there's no such thing we can tell God, you are right. Of course it's right. So the companions of our Prophet around the Prophet was amazed to see this man. He asked the Prophet, and then he emphasized the words of prophets as what he said was correct. And then he continued to ask, mention to me about Iman. And then the Prophet mentioned, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam mentioned, Iman is that you believe in Allah. You believe in the angels of God. You believe in the messengers of God, the prophets. You believe in the books of God. You believe in the day after. And you believe in the decrees of God. And then he said, you said it right. Again. And then he said, mention to me about ihsan. And the Prophet answered that you worship God as if you see Him. If you think you don't see Him, then know that He sees you. Now this is the essence of spirituality. That you worship God as though you see Him. And if you think you don't see Him, then know that He sees you. And the hadith continues. And from this word ihsan, now, if we are going to mention about spirituality, if you are going to mention about narrations of names that came from the Prophet, then the name Ihsan was narrated. If we are going to mention about the words of spirituality in Quran, then God mentioned the word tazkiyah, which means purification. And ihsan means kindness. When mentioning about the concept of spirituality in Islam, which has been discussed for generations, which is according to the concept of ihsan and tazkiyah, the scholars call it tasawwuf, or in the English term we call it Sufism. Now, what is Sufism? And if Sufism could be the solution for probably one of the most concerning matter to the Filipino Muslims and also the Filipino government. It's so interesting that when I come here, the need of explanation about extremism and what is happening in the world is so much compared to other places in the world. Now, spirituality. It's a very nice topic. When I enter the hall, if a person who doesn't have spirituality, the first thing they will do is they will either scold or scream because looking at pictures around us. You know, in Islam we don't use these pictures. But a person who doesn't understand spirituality, concept of God, and who doesn't know about laws of God, they will just scream, they will be angry, and they say, this is all something wrong. In the first place, is this your place? This is not your place. So you keep quietly. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he was worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when he was worshipping God around Kaaba, all of us knew how was the situation of Kaaba. Kaaba those days, before the migration of the Prophet, is not like today. Now it's all sacred, respected, beautified. Those days it was also respected, but there were idols around the Kaaba. But it didn't stop the Prophet from doing Umrah or doing Tawaf or circumambulation around the Kaaba. It did not stop him from doing so. Because at that time, it might not be his state. So he respected. For those people who don't understand the inner part of Islamic spirituality, or some people who might claim, now this is the reality of those people who claim that they are following the traditional Islam, or they say that we are following the conservative Islam. In reality, they are not following the conservative Islam. They are following their desire and using on the name of conservative or traditional Islam. Now, if we look back at traditional Islamic studies, almost all narrations of traditional Islamic studies have narrations, and teachers are all spiritual masters from one to another. And we can see through our scholars on how the narrators of Islamic knowledge from one generation to another, when we mention about scholars, some people might misunderstood as scholars as only those people who think that scholars, people who claim to have knowledge. Now, scholars are not people who claim to have knowledge. Scholars are qualified people. We have many voices nowadays, people who speak on behalf of Islam when they are not qualified to speak of Islam. Showing themselves as scholars when they are not scholars. No, they are not scholars. Scholars are those people who are qualified, who has gone through studies, years of Islamic knowledge before spreading knowledge. And after, we find scholars, real scholars, are trained under scholars who give tarbiyah in Islam. When we want to group scholars, it's not only about reading or taking exams, it's not only about having certification. Because we will learn in Islam who are the real scholars. In the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned, إِنَّمَا يَخْشَى اللَّهَ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ الْعُلَمَاء. Verily, the one who fears God are the scholars. Which means if you're a qualified physical scholar, if you don't fear God, you're not a scholar in the presence of God. Because there are some people who have knowledge, who have qualification, but they're corrupted. They might be scholars in the presence of people, but they are not scholars in the presence of God. Now, this presence of God in yourself is something that we give a lot of importance while giving our students knowledge. The vanishing or the removal of spirituality from Islamic studies are the main reason for terrorism, or what we call it extremism or radicalism. Now, when all of us know that knowledge is power. When you have knowledge, you have power. Now, how are you going to carry out that power? That is another question. Some people might have knowledge, but when they don't go through traditional, proper Islamic studies, they will not have that upbringing, or we call it the grooming. In Arabic, we use tarbiyah. When you have students, you should also groom your students. Now, that is what our teachers do to us. It's different from just studying just over the internet, for example. You don't get a touch of you don't get a past touch of spirituality or the past touch of character that you could see or you could experience, like how did they get from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, the chain of narration matters. Most people, or almost all of them, who are involved in radicalism or extremism, they are lack of this most important part of Islamic knowledge, which is called the narration. And in Islam, we take a lot of importance in knowing the narration of your knowledge, where you get from. Now, that's why the brother mentioned that my source of knowledge comes from Yemeni scholars. Narration of Yemeni scholars from the descendants of the offspring of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That is very important. Without knowing that, you don't know the authenticity of his knowledge. Where did it come from? Now, if you can track back my narrators to Yemeni scholars, then it's very simple. You just have to research about Yemeni scholars, and then you can find the narration until the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The same goes to Syrian scholars, for example. You just have to know that they are Syrian scholars, and then they can find back the chain of narration until the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The chain of narration of scholars from Egypt, if they are graduated from Azhar, for example. Azhar used to be and still is one of the most prominent Islamic institutions in the world. There's no slightest doubt about that. But the issue comes about when government or when leaders try to take advantage of people's respect and people's honor, and they turn into something which is in favor to their needs. That is when some part of the spirituality might have been, people thought that it has been removed. For example, in Azhar Sharif. Azhar is a great university. Until today, it is still great. There is no slightest doubt about that. But it is shocking to see sometimes why people from there who studied from Azhar, they come back not bringing the teachings of the teachers themselves. It shows that they only go there. Where I have some friends who say that we only go there, we study and we attend classes just to get attendance, and then we take exams and we go back home. It shows that you don't study from the teacher as what you're supposed to do. Now, Islamic studies is unlike academic studies. When you go, you just take exams, you get certification, and you are done. It is never satisfying if you don't have the touch of grooming from the scholars. So smart people who goes to Egypt, they will know what to do. They will know where to study, and they will know that they will spend a lot of time in the presence of scholars so that they get the touch of scholarly. They get that scholarly touch, and they know what the teacher wants from them. Now, it is just the same exactly like how you want to be a doctor. You have to learn from a professional doctor. If you want to be a mathematician, then you have to learn from a professional mathematician. If you want to be a good cook, you have to learn from a professional chef. And so even though you're a good cook at home, but you're not a qualified chef unless you go through courses and you get a touch and then he tests you, and you probably you are very used to the system in university on how a person, if he's going to take doctorate, and how they have to go through tests and exams and questions, and then lots of things that you have to go through before you are graduated as a doctor. Now that is the part of touch which is missing in many people, which people don't take importance anymore. And by just having certification, they are speaking things according to the way they think it's right when it's not right. Speaking things on behalf of religion, thinking that they are right, and they don't know where the source of knowledge comes from. And rejecting a big number of great scholars which have been witnessed in Islamic history by just putting few scholars, 2-3 scholars, and they refer everything, all the knowledge and all the opinions to those 2-3 scholars which has become like a rare or strange, which have strange opinions compared to the majority scholars in Islamic history. And this is what we can see in many radicalized people ideas. They will refer back to few scholars who they think as scholars, and only few names, 2-3 names. When throughout Islamic history we have thousands of scholars. We don't only have 2-3 scholars. We have thousands of millions. They remove all the change of narrations, they put it all of them aside, and they call of them wrong, and they take from these strange opinions. And these opinions are really strange. And sadly, when we see radicalized ideas people, they don't only reject the opinions of the traditional scholars, but they will go back to the scholars who they think they follow, and they will make up stories, and they will make up their own narrations, saying that the scholars has mentioned that this is wrong, when those scholars has never mentioned those things are wrong. Without fearing God, without understanding how you should do when narrating stories. Now, those are all the very general inputs on why extremism is connected to lackness of spirituality. And that is why at the beginning we mentioned to you kindness, or what we call it knowledge, the spirituality of Islam, is that you are aware that you are worshiping God as if you are seeing Him, and if you don't see Him, you realize that He is seeing, He's looking at you. Fear of God. When you don't have fear of God, you have lost a big spirituality part of Islam. And often we could hear people who are corrupted or people who are radicalized or extreme, they are never honest people. They carry out things not according to what they are supposed to carry out, thinking that because the opposite part are not Muslims and I do whatever I want, and they do it. When they don't understand this is a trust. When it's given to you, you have to carry out. But because lackness of grooming, realizing the presence of God, they have not realized the presence of God anymore. They do things according to their desire. And this is what we can see, for example, Wallahu A'lam, but this is what I heard from people of Philippines themselves. Please forgive me if I'm wrong saying things in many ways. For example, like how some Muslim leaders are given the trusts from the Philippines government, okay, to build the country and to develop the place and to use the money in the way they're supposed to. But when they get it, nothing happened. What we can see is that their houses are getting bigger, their cars are getting more, weapons are being purchased more, also due to some of the corruptions in the government. The soldiers themselves provide the weapons. So now, why do you do all this? Because they forget that they are going back to God one day and they are going to see God. Now in Islam, spirituality is very important. And often in my classes, especially when I give it in Singapore or Malaysia, I mention the small things that people might overlook. For example, when you fill up petrol, these are small things when actually it leads to big things. It comes to honesty and self-dignity. When you fill up petrol, for example, I'm not sure about how pesos currency are like, but in Malaysia and Singapore, they have removed 1 cent. We used to have 1 cent. Now we don't have 1 cent anymore, we have 5 cents. So if you fill up petrol, for example, $30.01, it will be round up to $30. So many people might think, at least I get extra 1 cent of petrol. Now, by doing that act, you actually have taken advantage of the situation, and you are not taking what you're supposed to take only. Even though it's only 1 cent. This 1 cent, this attitude, this habit, this 1 cent, it will grow if you keep on doing it again and again. And you will keep on taking advantage of every single situation that you can. Now, why do you do that? Because you're not realizing that God is looking at you. And you don't realize that one day you will stand in the presence of God and you have to answer every single action what you have done. Then what should I do? You should take $29.99 and give $30. And this is what God has mentioned in the Quran, وَيْلٌ لِلْمُطَفِّفِينَ. Cursed be upon those people who do tatfif. What is tatfif? الذين إذا والمطففون الذين إذا كانوا يستوفون الذين يقتلون على الناس يستوفون. When they buy, God mentioned about cursed be those people who talk faith in trading. When they buy from people, they ask for more. They try to put in more. When you buy 1 kilo, you say put more. Make it 1.1 kilo. Otherwise, the needle, now those days use needles. Otherwise, you will not complete 1 kilo. I'm unsure that you have done 1 kilo if it's not slightly more than 1 kilo. وَإِذَا كَالُوهُمْ أَوْ وَزَنُوهُمْ يُخْسِرُونَ. But when they give people, they make it lesser. Now, curse be upon all those people. When we don't understand the spirituality, the essence of God, that God is looking at you at whatever you do, and you don't realize that God will question you whatever you have done on earth, that is when you will be corrupted. Now, these small things, it might seem small, but it's a value that you carry in yourself. It's the presence of God which is absent in you, which have made you take advantage of the situation of what you have done to people. And then I also always mention, when you are driving, for example, you hit someone, you scratch someone, don't just run away like that. Put a note. Tell him you have hit his car, please call my number. You might be able to run away on earth. Oh, it's just a small thing, no problem. He doesn't know, he doesn't see. Now where is God? Does God see? Does God look at you? Do you think that you will get away from what you have done? When the end of time comes, you have to answer every single thing what you have done. And God has mentioned in the Quran, فَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَهُ وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ شَرًّا يَرَهُ. Who has done goodness in the smallest size, even though in the size of an atom, God sees. Whoever who does badness in the size of an atom, God sees and God knows. So now when we mention about spirituality, all comes back to the understanding presence of God. And then, that is one of the main things. Secondly, as what we have mentioned about the lackness of taking knowledge from those people who have taken knowledge, from those people who have taken knowledge, from those people who have taken knowledge from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's very different when you take knowledge and you discuss from people who have chain of narration compared to those people who doesn't have chain of narration. It's extremely, you can see the complete opposite. You might say some words, but when the narrator gets from someone, for example, now I'm going to instruct my friend, for example. I'm going to tell him, can you please get me a cup of water? No, he's going to pass that word nicely to another person. Now, for those people who might have just seen these words in writing, and they have a bad background themselves, they have a bad violent, they have a criminal background, and they have corrupted minded themselves. When they see, you look on how this person instructs people. He even instructs them to get him a glass of water. He doesn't know how to take himself. You look at what he says. It's written here, can you please get me a glass of water? Can he take himself? Now those are the kind of things which corrupted people will have. They will understand the story according to what they read, but not what they see and hear. Now this is one of the major problems we have in Islam when it comes to radicalism, the absence of spirituality, of passing narrations of words of God and also the words of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wa alihi wasallam. Another main reason for the lackness of spirituality is the education in Islam. When people speak more than what they know. Now, knowing more than what you speak is very important. When you speak more than what you know, now you will see a lot of radicalized ideas. Now, some people, for example, when they say something is not allowed in Islam. Now, how do you know that it's not allowed? It's not mentioned in narrations. But what if I will bring to you narrations which has been said by our prophets, say that something is allowed? Now, we can see here, in Philippines generally, we have a traditional Islamic practices which have been done, especially by the Muslims of Holo, of Sulu. Okay? Yes, that's probably one of the hotspots of some extremists, but that does not mean that you don't find traditional Islamic practices there. Okay? When, for example, you see extremists in Yemen, you know Yemen is a problematic country, but that does not mean you don't find traditional Islamic practices scholars there. In Syria, you look at what's happening in Syria, but that does not mean that you can't find traditional Islamic practices there. Now, many of the Islamic practices which has been brought by our scholars from Yemen, it's being taken out by a group of people who are in greed of power and wealth, removing the most important part of Islamic spirituality, which has made Islam strong itself. Now, by removing the big part of Islam, which is called the spirituality, and denying what contains Islam when it comes to spirituality, saying that it's not part of Islam, it's not part of teachings of Islam, they have removed a big component of Islam unrealizingly. Hence, creating a group of people who are unbelievable in God, have problem in their characters and honesty, they are corrupted themselves, they have greed in power and wealth, and they don't have any sincerity when it comes to serving humanity. They are in greed of power and wealth at all times. Some of the things that we have when we mention about spirituality in Philippines are like the practices of adhkar with recitation of dhikr. Or we have the recitation of poems. We have the clothings. We have their ways of lifestyle, which has been passed down from one generation to another. It is strongly linked to spirituality. In Islam, you also have some songs, and also some music instruments which is allowed to be used. In fact, most music instruments in Islam is allowed to be used. But when some group of people who have lackness of understanding, now they take one narration of the prophetic sayings, they say that this narration mentioned about all music instruments and this is not allowed, without understanding the context of religion properly. Spirituality in Islam, actually, our brother mentioned before this, he mentioned a lot about Islamic spirituality and one by one on how we get Islamic spirituality. Yes, one of the first ways is for you to understand the text of Quran properly and from the words of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which is called Shari'at. If you have the proper understanding of Shari'at, then you will go to the second stage, which is called Tariqah. Tariqah is a strive and a stage of grooming yourself, your character, and your what we call the presence of God in your heart. And also understanding on how the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ would carry out certain acts. Now some people nowadays, when they mention that this is not allowed in Islam, and they practice it violently, when you ask them, do you think, now just try to imagine, would the Prophet do this? Have you ever heard the Prophet do this? Or say things like this? Do you think Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which we honor all the time, will do acts like this kind of acts? Now you say this is wrong, this is not allowed. We don't give chances to the kuffar, to the non-Muslims. Was that done by the Prophet? We don't see that. What we saw was the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam honoring non-Muslims. What we see that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam made an allegiance with the non-Muslims, and he held on to the allegiance until he completed what he is supposed to do. We see that our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam respecting Christian kings in Ethiopia. Those days they call it Al-Habasha. The Christian king in Ethiopia was respected by our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We see that our Prophet has advised the Muslims to be nice to the people of Cairo when most people in Cairo back then, during the time of Prophet, they were Christians. We see that our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam advised the Caliph Sayyidina Umar, told him, remember your brothers in Syria, the Christian brothers, they will have concerns about their cross. They will have concerns about their churches. And they have concerns about their priests. Harm no one of them. You're not allowed to harm any one of them. So that is why when during the time of Umar, now the Christian in Syria, they requested that Umar himself come to them to make a peace agreement. And they didn't want anyone else. Because they knew something in Islam that they want from their religion which might not be able to be given by other people. And indeed, when he came to Palestine at that time was mainly by Arab Christians. When he came to Palestine, they honored him. And the Caliph Umar gave his agreement to the Christians, the Arab Christians in Palestine, that you should not harm any of their churches, you should not destroy any of their crucifixes, you should not disturb any of their monks. They should be left by themselves. And they were very happy and satisfied. There is no such thing as just by entering a place which is non-Muslim, we have to destroy everything. And the problem with extremism is by the lackness of spirituality is also not to accept differences of opinions. In Islam, there's a lot of differences of opinions among scholars. When you don't understand the text, what was mentioned now, when it comes to words of prophets and also words of Quran, there are things, we have foundations in Islam that we don't differ. For example, the 5-time prayers. There's not a single sect in Islam you're allowed to say that there's 4 times prayers a day. We have foundation like saying, bearing witness there is no God but Allah and Muhammad is the messenger of Allah, of God. And if anyone doesn't agree to it, we can still accept it in Islam. There are few foundations in Islam which we cannot differ at all. Now, yes, we agree to that things, but there are other things in Islam which we differ. And that does not prevent you from being a good Muslim, and that does not invite you to destroy others. Now, this group of extremists, they only want to abide to one kind of teachings, which they think is the only possible source of teachings, and they destroy other parts of teachings. And unfortunately, they cannot get along even amongst themselves. Now, in Islam, you might have here a different school of thought. Okay? Now, in Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, in Sunni itself, probably you might have heard the 4 different schools of thought. But we are all Sunnis and we can get along to each other. We don't have any problems. We respect differences because we understand there are topics in Islam which we are able to differ, and most of the things that we differ are small things, not major or foundation things. When you don't accept those differences, you will just take everything out and you say that this is all wrong, I'm the only one who is right. Now, most of the radicalized or extremist people, they have this kind of ideas. Also, understanding the concept of living in a country. Some people, they want to implement their law in people's country. Well, there are a lot of things. You want to implement your law in your place, that's up to you. But you want to force that law in the whole country? That's never possible. If that is your own country, then it's up to you. If you are the leader, then you do what you want to the country, as long as people support you, as long, not only as if people support you, if it's in accordance to the teaching of God and teachings of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and it is being recognized by the scholars. When you take all these presents out, you take all the opinions of scholars out, and you mention only God and Prophet Muhammad, the words of Prophet Muhammad, then you take all the opinions of scholars out, and you say only this is what I understand from the Quran, and this is what I understand from the Hadith. Now, how did the Hadith and Quran reach you? For example, when we mention about prayers, most of us Muslims for generations, how do we learn how to pray? Most of us learn how to pray from how we have witnessed from our fathers, or how we have witnessed from the Imam and scholars, how they have performed the prayer itself. We don't learn how to pray directly from text. Has there any, I don't know if there was any Muslims who has learned how to pray from text. Probably those people who converted somewhere without having any Muslims. Now they might have learned how to pray from text by looking at pictures. But without pictures itself, they couldn't know how to pray properly. We learn from one generation to another generation from man to man, from scholars to scholars, until the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So when they want to remove this big part of religion, which we call chain of narration, the grooming part of Islam, that is when the radicalized idea come in. And they are unacceptable to many kind of teachings and practices. And they don't only don't accept it, but they say that those people who does those practices which is not in accordance to the Quran or Hadith, which they claim themselves not according to Quran and Hadith, when it is actually from the Quran and Hadith, but because of their ignorance, they say it's not from Quran and Hadith, and they call those people as innovators, when they are the one who's innovating something, prohibiting something which was not prohibited by the Prophet himself, or was not prohibited by the Quran. And then they would call names and all these kind of things, and they throw and they say that these are all, they consider Muslims who are not according to their understanding as kuffar, as infidels, and those who are fighting Islam. And this is what we can see concerning about the ISIS. Now this is a grave topic that many people like to speak about. Some non-Muslims, they are concerned about ISIS. They are disturbing, they are coming, they are making some calls, some jihad here and there. Now, we Muslims are more concerned about ISIS more than non-Muslims. Because we could see most of ISIS victims, more than 90% of ISIS victims are actually Muslims. And we don't find ISIS in non-Muslim countries. We find them mostly in Muslim countries. So we are more afraid of ISIS than the non-Muslims are afraid of ISIS. And what we can see, when ISIS come into a place, they destroy Islamic traditions. They destroy schools. They destroy minarets of mosques. They don't build. They don't understand what's the duty of humanity on earth is to build and not to destroy. God has mentioned in the Quran that the duty of people on earth is to build the world, not to destroy the world. And those who destroy are not those people who are beloved by God. Up to an extent in Islam, when they mention about war, yes, there's such thing as fighting war in Islam. We don't deny that Islam fights in war. If they are being oppressed, they will fight for their rights. They will not just sit down and let people oppress them and kill them and just keep quiet till we relax. No, Islam teaches to be merciful. Yes, part of mercy is to fight for your people's rights. You don't allow people to oppress you. You don't oppress people. We don't oppress people, and we don't allow people to oppress us. And on top of that, one of the rulings of jihad is that you're not allowed to cut down trees. You're not allowed to destroy any buildings. You're not allowed to kill women or children or old men. You're not allowed to disfigure a dead, a deceased. For example, if someone was killed because he was propagating violence against a group of people in the country, regardless if they are Muslim or they are not Muslim. But in Islam, you're not to disfigure the deceased. For example, you cut the ears, you cut the nose, you cut the stomach. And this is done a lot in war, when people don't have belief in God, when people don't have Islamic teachings. And they don't know how to value life. In Islamic spirituality, we say that our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned in the hadith, in his words, he said that a Muslim who has la ilaha illallah, if he is a sinner, if he is a sinner and his veil is being lifted by God, then his light will encompass the heaven and the earth. Now a Muslim who is a sinner, his light will encompass the heaven and the earth, who has la ilaha illallah in his heart. If you don't understand this hadith, this saying of the Prophet, and if you do not value every Muslim as how it is, that is when we can see whatever is happening, by the ISIS killing Muslims like nobody's business. Just kill from one to another. And God has mentioned in the Quran on the sin of killing. When you kill someone, you get the sin of killing the whole humanity. من قتل نفسا فكأنما قتل الناس جميعا. Whosoever kills one life, he has, as if he has killed the whole humanity. ومن أحياها فكأنما أحيا الناس جميعا. At the same time, whoever gives lives, give help, give hope to people, as if they have give humanity the whole creation. Now that is the kind of sin and danger of practicing extremism, as how God has mentioned in the Quran. In fact, when you kill a Muslim, what is the sin of killing a Muslim? A Muslim kill a Muslim without a valid reason. God mentioned in the Quran, من قتل مؤمنا متعمدا فجزاؤه جهنم خالدا فيها. Whosoever kills a believer, a Muslim, intentionally, فجزاؤه جهنم خالدا فيها. His reward, jaza literally means reward, but God mentioned it another way. His reward or his punishment is to stay in the hellfire forever and ever. Now, is that the reward you will get? What you're hoping for when you kill a Muslim? Now, they justify themselves, they will get 70 rules, or what we call it 70 beautiful women in paradise if they are involved in jihad. Now, I have never heard any of chains of narrations mentioning from the words of the Prophet, mentioning that they will receive 70 rules. Why only 70 women? Why you don't want 1,000? Why you only want 170? God is very generous. He could give, when you enter paradise, there's no limit in paradise. But this is the kind of wrong understanding of the doctrine which is being planted in their mind. If you're involved in jihad, you will get 70 rules, 70 women, beautiful virgins in paradise. Now these people, when they fight for virgins, it shows that they have probably their lust and desire. We don't fight for virgins, we fight for the sake of God. We fight to bring up the truth. We fight to protect humanity. We fight to prevent oppression. We don't fight just to get women. We don't fight to get wealth. We don't fight for our race. We fight for justice. But because when the grooming part of Islam is absent, and they only start to speak about, oh, if you are involved in the war, if you have killed every life, you will get this kind of reward, this kind of reward. Now, when they mention about the things God to do with them, they don't need chains of narrations. They don't need from the sayings of the prophets. They can just pass by words. But when we want to mention something about Islam, they want chains of narrations. And even after we have given them chains of narrations, we have given them verses of our Quran, they say that no, you understand the Quran wrongly. It's not according to your understanding. So there's a lot of problem in extremism, especially when it comes to grooming, because even If they don't understand, they don't want to understand. And we know our Madhab Shafi'i, our Imam Shafi'i, one of the greatest scholars in Islamic history, Imam Shafi'i, very well known scholar in Islamic history. He said that for me to debate with one alim is easier than to debate with 1,000 jahil. For him to debate with one knowledgeable man is easier than to debate 1,000 jahil. It's not easy to debate with ignorant people. They don't understand what they are talking about in the first place. It's not their field of knowledge, so they don't know what they are talking about. That is a little bit about Islamic spirituality when connect and how terrorism come about when spirituality is removed from Islam. The presence of God is removed from Islam. The knowledge of Islamic chain of narration is removed from Islam without justifying what was said and without having good character and no sincerity, corrupt heart. So that's a little bit of what I want to say, and we ask for God to guide us and make us amongst those people who spread peace and not those people who spread violence. Allah.
Thank you, Sheikh. Let's give a few minutes to break. Meantime, we'll circulate pieces of paper. If you have any question, you can just write them down and pass them to the MC. Come again? Some songs. Okay, sure. Please.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Mga magulang, mga kapatid sa loob ng hall na ito, insyaAllah, amin pong pagpahin o di kaya babasahin ang isa sa mga talata o mga words o di kaya mga praises to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, na isa po ito sa mga isinulat ng mga scholars natin na sila po ay maraming kaalaman tungkol sa buhay o pamumuhay ng Propeta Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, at nakapunta po kami sa kanyang bundok sa Egypt, sa Alexandria. Siya po ay ang Imam al-Bushairi rahimahullah, o siya po ang nag-invento o gumawa sa kanyang burda, qasidah burda, yung na sinasabi po ng iba na mali ang mga laman nito, ang mga laman nito ay lahat bid'ah at iba pa. Pero nais ko pong kantahin kasama ko yung isang Malaysian na sulog din siya, tausog. Alhamdulillah, dumating siya kasama na si Sheikh Imran at sisimulan na po namin. At pwede po tayong sabay-sabay. Medyo baka alam niyo pong kantang ito kasi si Mahir Zain ay kinakanta rin niya ito sa kanyang mga concert o sa kanyang album. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Inna Allah wa malaikatahu yusalluna 'alan nabi. عليه وسلموا تسليما.
اللهم صل وسلم عليه وعلى آله.
مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. محمد أشرف الأعراب والعجم. محمد خير من يمشي على قدم. محمد باسط المعروف جامعه. محمد صاحب الإحسان والكرم. مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. محمد تاج رسل الله قاطبة. محمد صادق الأقوال والكلم. محمد ثابت الميثاق حافظه. محمد طيب الأخلاق والشيم. محمد رويت من نور طينته. محمد لم يزل نورا من القدم. مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. محمد زينة الدنيا وبهجتها. محمد كاشف الغمة والظلام. محمد سيد طابت مناقبه. محمد صاغه الرحمن بالنعم. محمد صفوة البال وخيرته. محمد ظاهر من سائر التهم. مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك عليه وعلى آله. Yes, please proceed with question and answer. What is the most important thing in a man's life? Now, our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has guided us. The most important thing in a man's life is the pleasure of God.
the most important thing in a man's life is the pleasure of God. And you can never get the pleasure of God if you don't embrace the complete teachings of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As God has made people to search for His pleasure, He will also send guides. Now our messengers, Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has been sent to us so that we could seek the pleasure of God according to the way that He has brought, and not according to the way people think they might get the pleasure of God, which is not guided by God Himself. And of course, before the Prophet Muhammad, Jesus has came, John, Moses, Abraham, Adam, and the rest, Noah, all of them, they are all guides and messengers of God. They were sent to people so that people could seek the pleasure of God. And this is exactly what was said by our Prophet Muhammad himself, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And that is why we say, you need sincerity, you need to do it for the sake of God. And there was once one story that was one story. You know Sayyidina Ali, one of the warriors in Islam. There was one guy wanted to kill him, and he was able to fight back with that man until he was able to fight back with that man until he was just about to kill that man. When he was just about to kill that man, he wanted the man to say his last word. What do you want to say with your last? What do you want to say your last word? And then that man spat at him. And you know, when you are able to kill your enemy and you are being spat off in your face, most people with their anger, they will just kill. At that moment, Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu, he didn't kill that man. He took his knife, he took his sword, and he went off. And they were shocked. He tried to kill you, and when you are able to control him, rule over him, you didn't kill him. Why did you do that so? He said, before that, I was fighting for the sake of God, defending myself. But when he spat on my face, I had an anger in my heart because of what he has done to me. And I feared that I will kill him because of my anger and not because of the sake of God. So there is no benefit in doing things to fulfill my desire and not for the sake of God. So I left that situation. That was done by the son-in-law of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Another question is, how do you reconcile differences in opinions among Muslims?
How do you reconcile differences of opinions amongst Muslims? Number one, to recognize that such thing as differences of opinion. If you don't recognize that such thing as differences of opinion, then you can never accept that. And at the same time, that it's not possible to make everyone say the same thing. All scholars say the same thing. That's not possible. Because no differences even happened during the time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself amongst his companions. And our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when things come to differences which is acceptable, there are things where differences is acceptable. No, he left it to the companions. He didn't say this is right, this is wrong. These are the matters of understanding on how you extract laws and rules. On the matters that comes to things which we disallow differences. For example, killing a Muslim, there's no such thing. Killing a Muslim is allowed. Killing a non-Muslim without a valid reason, if he's not fighting you, if he's not killing you, for sure it's not allowed. And of course, in Islam, you don't just leave. For example, some people from some country come in your country and just bomb you and kill you. Of course, you don't keep quiet. You fight for your life. We are not. We cannot just act. Now, religion is not only about being gentle, but religion is also about being majestic. You have your own dignity to protect your life, to protect your families, to protect your women, to protect your children, to protect the elderly. You don't just leave everyone. I'm going to kill your family. Please don't kill them. And they kill. Please don't do it again. Is that enough? You have to protect from anything happening to your family members. So again, what was the question?
How do you get another person?
Accept differences. Okay, now those are the matters which we don't accept differences. Are you allowed in Islam? Is something very known. Are you allowed to drink in Islam? No, you're not allowed to drink in Islam. How many times do you have to pray? 5 times per day. Are you allowed to do adultery in Islam? No, you're not allowed to do adultery in Islam. These are matters that we do not differ. Simple as that. When it comes to differences of opinions, when it comes to matters which allows differences of opinions, for example, the matter of clothes, you want which clothes are best, this clothes or that clothes, that's up to you. You want to wear what clothes, you want to wear Filipino clothes, you want to wear, I'm a Singaporean. I live in Malaysia. I studied in Yemen. I come from an Indian background. My race is Indian. My wife is a Danish. I wear Arabic clothes. That's up to me. No one can say that what I'm doing is right or what I'm doing is wrong. These are matters which accept differences of opinions. The matters of other things like whether to remember God in congregation or not, whether to do certain things, certain practices. These are matters of differences that allow differences. And when we mention about Islam, differences is actually beauty of showing that how people are using their intellect to extract law and rules from the Quran and the prophetic narration. So these are some things when you allow differences and you have to allow it to happen and you have to recognize it, it will continuously happen. And this is what we have seen in Islamic history. But that does not forbid you from being together. If differences of races, language, skin color, or gender should not stop you from getting to know each other, what else if only differences of small things in the religion? God mentioned in the Quran, Ya ayyuhan nasu inna khalaqnakum min dhakarin wa untha wa ja'alnakum shu'uban wa qaba'il lita'arafu. O people, verily we have created you from male and female. Okay? Wa ja'alnakum shu'uban wa qaba'il, and we have created you in different races and different tribes. Now, what is the reason God has created different races and different tribes? Lita'arafu, so that you get to know each other. And remember, there's no honor in gender, or there's no honor in language, or there's no honor in tribe or races. The most honorable amongst you, God continues after that, the most honorable amongst you are the most obedient to God. So if you think you want to be an honorable person on the face of earth, then be a very obedient servant of God. Not to be some races, then you will be more honorable than others. Just like how some people think that black is more honorable than white, because black are the original people of the earth, and then the whites will say, no, we are more honorable than the blacks. And some people will say that by speaking certain kind of language will make you more honorable than another. No, that is not how you get honor. The way you get honor is by being most obedient servant of God. And khairun nas anfa'uhum lin-nas. The best of people is the best, the most beneficial to them. So if you think you want to be a good servant of God, then you should be the most beneficial to people.
Follow-up question. Do you also conduct dialogues among yourselves? Example, Sunni, Shia, Sunni.
The Sunnis and Shias, we don't have problem. We have dialogue and we have chat, we drink coffee, we hug each other. That's the reality of Sunni and Shia. And what's the thing that we hear in the news? Sunni and Shia fighting in Syria. Sunni and Shia is not fighting in Syria. The one who's fighting is not Sunni and Shia. The one who's fighting are extremists using the name of Sunni to destroy a group which they think they want to destroy, which is called Shia. When Shia themselves said in Syria, we don't fight the Sunnis, we are fighting a political war. So now how come Sunnis and Shias are being portrayed in the media? That's the reality about media. They don't confirm about what was said by certain groups. They just want to disturb certain people. At the same time, yes, the extremists use the word Sunni. Why do they use the word Sunni? Because most Muslims in the world are Sunnis. Now they are taking advantage of the situation. Because most Muslims in the world are Sunni, they are taking advantage of the situation to gain empathy from Muslims all over the world so that they might get some financial help or some physical help. Basically, some Sunnis themselves come and help them in that war. So in reality, Sunnis are not fighting with the Shiites. So the Sunnis and Shiites, we don't fight. Okay, that's for sure. Now, do we have dialogue? If we have dialogue with other sects in Islam, most sects in Islam, we don't have problem to have dialogue except for one sect. They're extremists. And who claim themselves, for example, Islamic State, who don't agree, they don't even want to sit with the non-Muslims. We do sit with Muslims, we do sit with non-Muslims and everyone. We don't have any problems. Regardless of our differences, we should unite and bring peace to people, because that's the main reason for religion, to help people, to give peace to people. Except for one extremist group who they don't want to sit with people, they just think that everyone else is wrong, and they some people, especially when it comes to the spiritual part of Islam, when it comes to the Sufis, they say don't sit with the Sufis. Why? Because they have magics. When you sit with them, you will for sure be taken by their magics. Many of our people has become like that. So don't be with them. Don't listen to their words. Our words, yes, our words are magics because we fill our words with love and mercy and compassion and the true message what has been taught by God and the way that has been shown by our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's our magic, indeed.
Probably this question wants to solicit your idea, your point of view on the in practice between the question is, how do the Filipino Muslims fight against the spillover of ISIS in Mindanao? How do you de-radicalize or bring back spirituality to a person who has lost it or who does not want it anymore?
Now, nothing better than education and good character building. Number one, religious education. Now, many people misunderstood the concept of jihad. So we have to educate people on the concept of jihad and how to use it at certain place. You know, jihad is a very honorable word in Islam. It's a very honorable word, but it has been abused and being portrayed wrongly. So now re-educate people on the concept of jihad and when you're allowed to do jihad and how is your jihad in your situation. Okay, that's one thing. Proper knowledge according to the chain of narration which has been taken from one generation to another until our Prophet, to make sure there was no distortion in passing of information along the way. That's one thing very important. Secondly, character building. You need a good character. You need a person who has good character, good leadership character. And in the character contains also sincerity. If you have good education, you have good character, but your heart is corrupted. When you do something, you only think of greed, of power and wealth. Even though you are very nice, oh yes, you're my brother. But you want something behind that from people. You're expecting something in return. Something in return. So that's a corrupted heart. So that is also something that you have to repair. And we, Islamic scholars, when it comes to spirituality, we give a lot of importance in these three things. Number one, Islamic education. From chains of narration, which is authentic, from one generation to another to make sure there's no distortion of information along the way. Secondly, good character building by learning through examples rather than just mere recitation or reading of books. Number three, purification of heart, to have sincerity of whatever you do for the sake of God. That's how we have mentioned before this, when the son-in-law of the Prophet, he was able to defend himself, and he was able to rule over that man. He didn't kill because he thought he was not going to kill for the sake of God. He was going to kill for the sake of his anger. So he left it. Sincerity also refers to the presence of God in your heart.
Another question is, what is the expression
expression?
Kind of Islamic nation,
The kind of Islam in Malaysia in general, they are Sunni Muslims. Alhamdulillah, by the grace of God, lately we have overcome a lot of these radicalized ideas. We have identified speakers. And the thing about Malaysia is that they have different sultans. In every state, they have different sultans. So when it comes to the Islamic Council, every state has their own law. It's not like one Malaysia, they rule everything. When it comes to political matters, the government rule over everything. But when it comes to religious matters, every sultans, they have their own Islamic law. So one by one, state has declared and made it very clear what are the kind of teachings are allowed, and who are the speakers who are identified as allowed to speak in their state, and who are the speakers who are not allowed to speak in their state. And indeed, many speakers have been caught because they still teach despite of the prohibition of teaching. Okay, they have been caught, and indeed in Malaysia and Singapore, by the grace of God, radicalized Islamic ideas of teachings has been reduced enormously by the grace of God. That was nice. After we had to fight through it for quite a number of years, by the grace of God. Now, because you can see these radicalized ideas, they wouldn't accept traditional Islamic practices. In the Muslim society, we have our celebration of the birthday of the Prophet. But these extreme ideas, they wouldn't allow such a thing. They say, what are you doing? You're becoming like the Christians. We are not becoming like the Christians. This is Islamic basis. Even if we are becoming like the Christians, if it's something good, why not we adopt from it? What's wrong with adopting, learning something which is good from other religion? Our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he was asked, he asked the Jews, they were fasting on the 10th of Muharram, on the 10th of the first month of the lunar Islamic calendar. He was asking why the Jews are fasting. He said because they are showing gratitude to God, because God has saved Moses from Pharaoh. Then our Prophet said, we are more rightful to Moses, so let's fast. And he himself fasts. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If it's something which is good, why not? So now these are the kind of things that problematic with those radicalized ideas is by rejecting many of traditional Islamic practices.
Another question is,
If I didn't answer your question properly, please do speak up. Like, what do you mean by asking those questions? Please do so.
another question is it possible for men to be able to see the past Anguilla and converse with them?
I know where the question came from. Is it possible for a man to have relationship with the past Anguilla and to converse with them? To converse with the soul who has died. Okay? Basically, we believe in Islam, we believe soul doesn't die. The one that dies is body. Okay? When soul goes up on the body, that's when the body is dead. But the soul is alive. And the soul will never be destroyed forever and ever. The soul is the one who is going to the paradise or is going to the hell. And we are actually our soul, because without our soul we are dead. So the one who's moving your body and everything, who's realizing and who's alive is actually your soul, not your body. Your body is not alive without your soul. Now this is a deep discussion. Are you able to have relationship? Yes, we do have relationship with our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We are his nation, and he even called us as his brothers. When he mentioned that how I miss to see my brothers. How I miss to see my brothers. And his companions around him asked, "Oh Prophet, are we not your brothers?" And then he said, "You are my companions." Then who are your brothers? My brothers are those people who comes after me. They bear witness that I'm the messenger of God when they have not ever seen me. And they will spend their wealth and family just so that they are able to see me. So yes, we can have relationship and connection with the deceased. Now, when we mention about Awliya Allah, they are the saints of God. We call them as the inheritors of the Prophet. We love them because they follow the way of the Prophet, because we love the Prophet. Okay. Now, are we able to converse with them? I found that so myself. That is another thing. Now, that is up to God's will, because God is the one who has created time and space. He can fold time and space according to His will. If He wants, He makes you speak to the deceased. If He wants, He makes you speak to the devil. And this is what we have seen in Islamic tradition. Many of Islamic scholars, even the prophets, many of them, they spoke to the devil, to the master of devil, who we call as Iblis. I don't know what they call it in English. What they call it in English? What's the biggest devil? Huh? Satan. Shaitan. Lucifer. I don't know, the most important is the master of devil. Okay, the prophets did converse with them. Huh? Ijad. Okay. This is Arabic. Iblis. So this is another discussion which needs a lot of concentration on its topic itself. I don't want to confuse many of you.
Next question is more impersonal.
Okay.
What do you call your turban?
Okay.
Are you a Sufi? Can you explain what a Sufi is?
I hope that God made me a Sufi. A real Sufi is what we want to be. Yes, we embrace the teachings of Sufism. Or we embrace the teachings of Tasawwuf. I follow the doctrine of Sufism, Tasawwuf. A Sufi is someone who has embraced the teachings of Tasawwuf completely, and someone who has pure heart, who does his life everything for the sake of God. I wish that I can have that, and I'm working towards that. What do you call this? In English they call it turban. In Arabic they call it imamah. This is one of the clothings of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So it's sunnah. It's part of the clothing of the Prophet. And even this is what we call it shal. Okay, the shal. In English we call it shal. There are a few methods to put it on. In English they call it shal as well. And this is a cloak. Okay, which is in Arabic they call it burda or jubba. And this is called qamis. Now these are all the clothes of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And this is what you call stick. Some people is shocked to see why I'm so young but I'm holding a walking stick. Yes, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he holds a walking stick when he travels. So that's why I hold a walking stick. But when I'm in my state, when I'm in, I live next to Singapore in Malaysia, I don't carry the stick. But when I travel outside Malaysia or Singapore, I will carry the stick.
Another question about terrorism.
Terrorism.
It says terrorism has no religion. Islam condemns terrorism.
True.
My questions are: what is the Islamic stance on terrorist attacks that took place in Madrid on March 2004, September 2001 in New York, and repeatedly suicided in Israel? Where do Muslim terrorists get their textual justification?
Okay, when they say about 9/11, when you say about what happened in Madrid, now few things we have to consider. Who are the one who is carrying out those acts in the first place? Because now, for example, 9/11, this is something that nobody is ignorant about. I think many studies has proven that it's actually an inside job. Okay. Well, I cannot justify whether it's being done by a Muslim, because now that man who did the bombing, he didn't tell me if he's a Muslim or not. Okay. At the same time, I cannot say that it's an inside job, because we know those people who is being blamed for the inside job themselves has not come out and said that it's our job. So, general Islamic stance on terrorism, we have mentioned before this, you are here in this world to build and not to destroy. Any act of destruction is prohibited in Islam, and that's not allowed. If there's any kind of destruction or bombing or things happening, that's not Islamic, simple as that. If he claims himself to be a Muslim, then he's a problematic Muslim. He has some mental problems. He's a corrupted Muslim, according to our teacher.
Another question is
Relation to Sufi teachings.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Walaikum salam.
Can you please explain to us the concept of ihsan? This is explain what
Okay.
al-kamil.
Ihsan al-kamil. The concept of ihsan is kindness, which we say the practice of tasawwuf itself, the practices of Sufism. Al-kamil is when you have perfected all Sufi practices. Al-kamil is complete. Okay? When you become a real Sufi, then you are at the level of al-kamil, complete. Of course, now these terms, there's long explanations on every term and how, when it happened, how can it be, and when you consider who are allowed to be called such words. Now those, Sufism is a subject, it's a big subject itself to be learned.
Okay, there's one more question for that. How would this correlate with the verse from Genesis? And I quote, and so God created man in his own image. In the image of God created him, and male and female created he them. What was that? He's quoting from the verse.
From Bible. I don't master Bible. Probably you should ask someone who master Bible to explain that, to be more fair.
Probably he wants to be enlightened on the relationship or the connection of the particular verse in the Bible, the concept of Insan and al-Kamil Insan, that God is created from the image, that man is created from the image of God.
That man is created from the image of God. What I can say is that we have a lot of similarity between Islam and Christianity that we have to concentrate on when it comes to books of Christians, books of the Judaism. We do recognize that part of it was revealed by God to Jesus and revealed by God to Moses, except that we ourselves Muslims, we couldn't confirm which part of the Bible is actually was revealed by God, or which part of the Torah was revealed by God. But anything which is similar to what is mentioned in the Bible, the Quran, we definitely say that it's definitely from the same source. We don't deny it, because now we call it the Abrahamic religion. When God created man in His image, we do not find this in the Quran, so I couldn't explain. Please forgive me. Probably you ask some bishop, maybe he could explain and he could do some comparison. Or maybe I should ask the bishop myself. Please forgive me. To be fair, I can't comment on what I'm not sure about.
We have a question here.
Please do so. As long as we have time, we don't have any problem.
Probably these two pieces of paper are last questions. As far as history is concerned, there was no Sufism during the time of Prophet.
Okay.
Does Sufi follow the Sunnah of Prophet?
Yes.
Is there a difference that Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah and Sufism?
Is there differences between Ahlul Sunnah and Jama'ah and Sufism? So Sunni embrace the teachings of Sufism. If you say you're a Sunni and you reject Sufism, then how to call yourself Sunni? Sufism is a high level of knowledge, okay, which you grow to be someone who's greater as a Sunni. That's basically being a high level Sunni. That's why it's called Sufism. Now, during the time of the Prophet, is there Sufism? The teachings of Sufism are taken from the teachings of the prophets. Then why didn't we call the companions of prophets as Sufis? They have a greater name, which is called the companion of the prophet. When you mention the companion of the prophet, it is greater by just simply being called a Sufi. In Islam, we believe that the best group of people on earth is during the time of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is his companions. They are the best group of scholars. Why? Because they have the best teacher, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. And to get the name or the honor of a companion is greater than just being a Sufi. So there is nowhere you can compare the Sufi to the companions of the Prophet themselves. No problem.
When does terrorism exist? Can you just follow the teaching of Islam without the term Sunni, Shia, or Sufi? Because it just
If now, can we practice Islam without using the term of Sufism? It's up to you. If you want to practice Islam without using the term of Sufism, then you don't use. If you want the more you want to upgrade yourself, then you embrace Sufism. Sunni, is there differences between Sufism and Sunni? Now, as how we have mentioned, the Sunni embraces Sufism. So it should not be separated. Sunni from Sufism. That is the reality. Can we just practice Islam without falling into sects? Unfortunately, some group of people has made some sects for their own personal benefit, regardless whether it comes to political benefit or economical benefit or tribal benefit or whatever it is. So they are the one who has created sects. There was once the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was asked by the companions on what should we follow. He said, follow my sunnah and the sunnah of my companions, the way of my companions. And they say, what if we are in great confusion? Now, what if there will be so many sects? He said, then follow the majority Muslims. And the majority Muslims in this world, we will find they are Sunnis. So we follow the Sunnis. What about Shiite? Now, we have to study again how they come about, what is the reason they come for, what they are fighting for. That's another thing. Because, now, why do we call Sunnis? Sunnis come from the word of Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah in Arabic. What does Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah mean? Ahlul Sunnah means those people who embrace the teachings of the Prophet and the majority Muslims. Because who is the one who said that you should follow the majority Muslims? The Prophet himself. That's why we call the term Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah. When we mention Sunni, Sunni is actually a short term for Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah. And then it's being used in English as well, Sunni. So, can we practice Islam without want to follow any sect of Islam? Now, Islamic teachings will definitely fall into one of those sects. One of the sects. It's very difficult for you to just, if you just want to follow, I don't want to be anything. Okay, if you just want to practice as a Muslim, you want to pray, you want to give your alms giving, you want to do your Hajj, even learning those methods you have to go through some mainstream. Okay, either you learn from the Shiites or you learn from the Sunnis. And mostly, if you say you are learning the general Islam in the world, then you are Sunni, because that's the majority Muslims around. So you will be a Sunni automatically.
The first question: when does
When does
terrorism exist?
the term Sufism exist? Yes, it exists later, during the time of the Tabi'in or Tabi'in. It did not exist during the time of the Prophet. But the term purification, the concept of Sufism, which is derived from the prophetic tradition, and also, if you don't want to call it tasawwuf, no problem, call it tazkiyah, purification. Now you mentioned in the Quran. It's the same concept. The concept of ihsan, which is taken from the prophetic tradition, is the same concept. It's just differences of name. But now, why don't we change the word Sufism to tazkiyah? Because it came from the Quran, or we use the word ihsan because it came from the prophetic tradition. Now, a lot of benefit, books, methods, doctrines has been written in the name of Sufism. So if you're going to change the term, number one is sport. You can change the term for yourself, but you can't change the term for the whole nation in the world. It is very difficult. And Sufism has benefited so much to people. And it is known as a method which is peace, bringing you as a perfect person, perfecting your identity with the presence of God and being more beneficial to people. So there's a lot of concepts and understanding built on the name of Sufism. So if you want to remove the name of Sufism, for example, if all humanity want to remove the name of Sufism, then you will create a great destruction. You will remove a lot of benefit what people has done on the name of Sufism for centuries.
Okay, this is the last question. Iraq, Syria was once the home of scholars, ulama, apparently the reasons for Islamic unity.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Iraq or Baghdad and Syria or Damascus were once the home of scholars, or ulama, and apparently the reasons for Islamic unity appealing to be blessed community. But now the symbol of this unity, Arab killing fellow Arab, everything has the power of Allah, which is already absent over us.
What was the question? There's no question, just a comment.
Maybe
No problem.
perception, analysis, understanding of the present world.
Now, when we mention about the strength of God, nothing happens in the world without the will of God, without being in His control. He is the one who decides. Okay? He is the one who decides on whatever which is going to happen in the world. Now, Syria and Iraq was once, for hundreds of years, they have been a very blessed country. There was no large scholars coming in. And what has caused those problems? Physically, what we can witness is this extremism problem, not accepting differences, killing Muslims, thinking that they are doing jihad without having sincerity, doing it to fulfill their lust or desire on women, using women as object to fulfill their desire. Now these are the main problem which has caused a lot of problems in those countries. That's what we can see.
Okay, one last question. This is
No problem.
last hearing.
Last hearing.
Are such religious wars prohibited in this age, in this time? And if not, what is the significance of jihad? And what is the interpretation of jihad? Please expound the distinction of jihad and terrorism.
Okay, now, are there such thing as religious wars in this age? Now most wars are being used in the name of countries and political powers, not in the name of religion. Nowadays is a very different kind of time. Not like those days where the Crusaders, they fight with the Muslims or whatever it is. Nowadays Muslims, Christians, all of them sit together. So is there such thing as war in religion? Now that is something we have to ask. If the person is fighting in the name of religion, or if he's fighting in the name of his country, yeah, that's the first question you have to ask. If he's fighting in the name of religion, also he will represent his sects. It is very rare that, for example, when the Christians, for example, we don't mention Christians, we mention somebody that maybe most of us, we don't mention Islamic Christians because most of us here are Muslims and Christians. For example, now is there any Buddhists here? I don't want to offend anyone. Is there any Buddhists? Is there any Hindus here? Are there any Hindus here? Probably not. So for example, the Buddhists fight with the Hindus. Now the Buddhists, if they fight in the name of religion, now are they representing all Buddhists? Or they are representing their sect of Buddhism? For example, Hinduism, we have lots of branches of Hinduism. We have someone from India, we have the different kind of Hindus from the Indonesia. They are totally two. The other Hindus, yes, they are Hindus, but they are two different kind of Hindus. When one fight, it does not represent another one as well. So if let's say someone comes out with fighting in the name of Hindus, of the Indonesian Hindus, so we Hindus, we declare war on the Buddhists, for example. Now the one that you have to fight is only the Indonesian Hindus. You don't fight with the Indian Hindus. Now, what's the concept of jihad? Well, the concept of jihad is basically, now jihad is a long explanation, it's a big topic. We learned for months in our school, every day, we attend class explaining on the concept of jihad. But we can't do that here now. So we can give you the general concept of jihad. What is jihad? Jihad is like Ministry of Defense in your country. Now, do you say Ministry of Defense is important in your country? Who says that Ministry of Defense is not important in your country? Who says that you don't need soldiers in your country? Now, there's a concept, the general concept of jihad. To protect your people, to protect your country. Okay? That is the main concept of jihad. You want to know more about jihad? Oh, long explanation, long studies on how to do it, when can you do it, how you should do it, all. But the general concept of jihad is Ministry of Defense. And who can say that Ministry of Defense is not important?
Studies for appreciation to Sheikh Imran Angullia,